Okay, what do you really need to go overlanding? Not that much. So you want to be an overlander, huh? First things first, you need a rooftop tent and you need a $70,000 trophy truck. All right, see you next time. So the first thing that you need to get started in overlanding is a vehicle. Now, I'm building my Ford F-150 into an overlanding rig, but that being said, the best vehicle to go overlanding, it's not a Tacoma, it's not a 4Runner, it's not a Jeep, it's not a GX470, none of those are the best. The best, I know it's cliche, is the vehicle you already have. Don't worry if you don't have this super built up rig with upgraded suspension, huge off-road tires and all that stuff. All of that comes later, but just to get started, just to get outside and go somewhere, all you need is the vehicle you already have. That being said though, make sure that you know the capability of your vehicle and know the capability of yourself as a driver. You don't want to cause yourself more trouble going out. You could do tons of modifications to make your life easier, but all of them are not necessary. You can go out in a totally stock vehicle, and I did in my brand new truck before I started upgrading it and before I started this YouTube channel. That being said, those are nice to have, but coming back to what we're talking about, you don't need them. The best thing is the vehicle you got. Just use that and get you to where you want to go. Number two, pretty self-explanatory. You need somewhere to sleep. Now, that does not mean that you need a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 rooftop tent to be an overlander. If you have a ground tent, throw that sucker in the truck, in the Civic, in the 4Runner, and go out there. If you're worried about comfort, bring some camping pads or some extra blankets and use it as bedding so that you're a little more comfortable. But don't let the lie of you need this big expensive tent to be comfortable and to have a good time in the great outdoors. You can see tonight I'm doing hammock camping. Now, I've been hammock camping for a long time. Pretty much the last 7 or 8 years of my backpacking life, I've been hammock camping. And it's great. It's probably the best night's sleep outside I've ever had. And guess what? It doesn't cost a lot to get into, and it's kind of a niche. And it's really fun to set up. And it's pretty interesting when you see another hammocker and then you have this like weird connection. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But that's the second thing. You need a place to sleep. That being said, we're gonna go back to number one, which is your truck or your vehicle. You can 100% sleep in a vehicle. If you have something like a 4Runner or an Outback or, you know, like a CRV or something like that, where you got some rear seats that you could either lay down or pull out or whatever, use that. You don't need a tent. You don't need a hammock. You don't need a rooftop tent. You don't need any of it. But you do need a shelter. So if it's not going to be your vehicle, invest in a tent. If it's not going to be a tent, do a hammock. If it's not going to be that, I don't care if you put a tarp in between two trees and lay on the dirt. My point is bare minimum, you need a vehicle, number one, and then a shelter, number two. And with that being said, let's get into what I think the third and final thing you actually need to start overlanding. I've had this little Coleman grill thing that I bought from, I don't even know where I bought it from, freaking 10 years ago. It's dusty, it's rusty in some spots, and it works great. It takes those little propane canisters, pop it on the side, and you're good to go. You have 2-burner stove ready to cook on. That being said though, you don't even need this. You know, you could go as crazy and hardcore as you want, or you could go as simple and minimalist as you want. For a long time, I just used a Fancy Feast cat food can stove that I made myself, which cost me less than $5 to make. It weighs like 2 or 3 ounces, and I'll show you the size of it. It's literally just fit in the palm of my hand. I could put it inside of my backpacking pot and do rehydrated meals via boiling some water and then dumping it in a mountain house or a backpacker's pantry or whatever type of rehydrated meal you want. But it is a nice luxury to have a stove with big pots or pans and things like that. You could feel a little more comfortable, but you don't need that, is what I'm getting at. You do need something to cook for yourself, but that could be as simple as a pot to boil water and a tiny stove that weighs 3 ounces. And then you could just take some flammable liquid and boil water with that, and you're good to go. So that was my top 3 things that I think you need to start overlanding. Don't be afraid to go and explore. You don't need a lot of gear. It doesn't require a lot of money and a lot of investment just to go outside. A lot of people are afraid because they think that they need 20 things, but in reality, you really don't need that much. Alright, thanks for watching, you guys. If I haven't said it already, my name's Jordan. Thanks for watching my channel. If you liked what you saw, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. Stay safe, go outside, and explore. Seriously. You don't need that much to go.